Hi, my name is John Atwood. I'm running for Norwood City Council at large, and I'm a lifelong Norwoodian. And I'm very proud of that, and I would like you to be proud of being a Norwoodian too. My background is that I'm very involved in the community. I like to serve people, and that's what I live for. I've served as a coach for many teams in basketball, let's see, what else? Softball, baseball, basketball. I've coached them all, and I really enjoy working with the youth in the community. I've also met lots of parents through that time, and working with the parents, I've learned things about our community that need to change or things that need to stay, and what hurts people have. I've also been involved in my church a lot. I'm the assistant pastor at Cameron Avenue Church of God, and we get to meet many walks of life as we do that. And we get to hear people's pains and their hurts, but also their joyous times here in Norwood. Like I said before, I like to serve people, and I was really struggling recently, and I was talking to my son, and my son needed my help, and several other people needed my help. And I'm a physical therapist at my work, and I've been helping people all day, and I was just done helping people. But as I was complaining to my son that everybody needed me and I couldn't do anymore, I got a call from an elderly person from our church who needed help because they had fallen and they couldn't get up. And then at that point, I realized that my life is not my own, and I need to serve others. That's what I'm called to do. And I can do this on Norwood City Council. But I also, if I got on the council, I know that I'm going to work hard, but I also know that I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time. But I'm smart enough to know to go find the person who's in the room, or find the person who needs to give me an answer. And I will do that in this job. But, sometimes it's not just about being the smartest person. You have to have vision. And I think that's what we've lacked a lot in our city. I don't know if we have a plan to move forward. I don't know if we have a plan to cohesively do things. We could piecemeal here and there, but we don't have vision. And I'm a vision person. We need to work on our small businesses so that we can have a thriving Montgomery Road. And my vision is for the city and city council to work with others like the Chamber of Commerce and other community organizations to work together to bring small businesses to spaces that are not being used correctly. And we need to up our parks. We need to put money into our parks, but we can't just put a little piece of equipment here and a little piece of equipment there. We have to have a plan of what we're going to do in each park and make each park its own identity, but also not just piecemeal it together. We also need to have communication. How do people know things that are happening in Norwood? How do people know that there's a city council in Norwood? Norwood has always had trouble getting their word out. And one of the first things I would like to do is help work on branding Norwood. What is Norwood? We don't know yet. Norwood is here in the middle of Cincinnati. We're the gem of the Highlands, but what does that mean? And we need to brand Norwood. When you drive into Norwood, when you see the roads and you look up, what do you see? You don't see anything. We need branding as in signage. We need wayfinding in the city. We need a way to tell visitors and our own citizens. We need to tell them where things are at. So we need to have a cohesive plan for branding Norwood and for communication with our people. And one way they can do that is if they come to the city council meetings and or they watch city council. Sometimes I feel the meetings just get a little bit like we're just having a meeting to have a meeting. And we need to stop that. We need to listen to our residents. We need to let them speak. We need to hear their voices, and we need to listen to them and do things that our residents want. Sometimes we get in our heads that what's best for Norwood is what I know, but that's not always right. Sometimes what's best for Norwood is what our people want, and that may not always be the best business decision all the time. I can remember back in high school, actually I was in middle school, and there was a bully picking on somebody in one of the locker rooms. And I was going to stick up for the kid a little bit, and it was in the basketball locker room, and the bully all of a sudden says, "Well, I'll kick your butt too," and starts hitting me in the back and in the back of the head. And then finally he just stops, and then he said, "I kicked your butt." The thing is, I stopped the bully from picking on the other little kid, and I didn't get hurt one bit. And sometimes as a city, we have to stand up against the big person or the bully. And sometimes you might take a little bit of a beating, you might take a problem, or you might have a problem, but sometimes that's where we have to stand in the place between our citizens and outsiders. And I can do that. I have no aspirations of being a politician or going anywhere further than being on Norwood City Council. I just want to do what's the best for Norwood. And I want to make Norwood the best place it can be, and that's what I'm here to do. And I'm John Atwood. Vote John Atwood for Norwood. Thank you.